Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Rosie, and if you're new here, please do subscribe using that big red button down below. So today I wanted to give you a bit of a life update video because a lot has been happening. So quick backstory, in about November I think it was, me and my husband Jeremy went to Peru. We went backpacking. It was supposed to be 9 months around South America. In December my dad got ill, so January, literally New Year's Eve, between 2021 and 2022, we were on the plane overnight to get back home to England. Got home on the 1st of January. On the 2nd of January, my dad had seizures in the kitchen, almost died. I had to do chest compressions, went to hospital for about 2 months. He then went to rehab for 2 months, and he'd had a stroke almost, because he's got a really rare disease. He had stroke-like symptoms. And it's been one heck of a 5 months basically. It's now the 1st of June, and I just kind of thought I'd do an update for you guys watching, if you've been watching along, but also for me so I can look back on this and kind of see what was happening when. So like I said, my dad was in hospital for 2 months. He was then in a rehab clinic called Ryder Neurological Centre near Preston. And if you ever have to get neurological care, it was incredible. They were so good. Really, really brilliant. I can't recommend them enough. But he was there for 2 months, and then he's now been home for about a month, and we're leaving on Friday. So today's Wednesday, we're leaving in 2 days' time. We're going to Paris, we're going to France, we're going to do lots of things. I'm going to talk about that in a second. But I just thought I would talk a little bit about my dad. So he's talking really well. He can mostly say full sentences. He sometimes struggles on certain words, like for some reason poached eggs he forgets quite often. Sometimes he'll struggle with just saying a word, like at the table earlier he couldn't say watercress, but then I kind of knew what he was talking about. So his progression is incredible. He's way better than I thought he would ever be. So it's just been so good. I'm so proud of him. And something that's helped as well, if you ever have somebody who's gone through a stroke, there's an app called React 2. I think you have to pay for it, but we got signed in with the NHS at the hospital. But it's really brilliant for brain injury people, stroke people, because you can kind of build the brain back up again and do lots of different exercises to try and get your brain to remember and to figure things out. So it's been really great. So that's another thing I would recommend. He has been having heart problems. His pulse is down to 40 sometimes, and it even went down to 38. So he went to hospital a week or two ago about that. They said they couldn't find anything wrong, so he came back again, and it's still low. So we're hoping to get that sorted with some heart monitors and maybe a pacemaker or something at some point. I'm not sure, but he's well basically. My grandma's doing well. She had COVID, and for a couple of weeks she wasn't doing so great, but then she recovered and she's fine again. She's back to kind of how she was, which is brilliant. And mum is still working. Mum's doing really well. So the family is good here, and I didn't want to leave here before I knew that everybody was sorted. So since I've come, we've got a cleaner coming in once every 2 weeks, and we've also got a carer to come in for my grandma every now and then, like a couple of times a week. There's been a couple of changes that have happened that have really made their life a lot better. So that's been fantastic, and everything seems good, which means that I can leave. But before I talk about the next stage, I want to talk about the lessons that I've learned. So I've been here for 5 months with my husband Jeremy, living with my mum, my grandma, my dad this past month, and also my little brother and his wife have been visiting, and my big brother with his wife and 2 kids visited for 2 weeks at the beginning in about January time. So it's been a lot, but I kind of thought I'd talk about the lessons that I've learned, because it's not often that at 34 years old you go home and live with your parents. And I think my mum has really enjoyed getting to know me again as an adult, because last time I lived at home I was before I went to university, so I was 17, and then since then you kind of come home for summer, but you spend so much time on holidays and seeing friends. So really living at home probably since I was 17. So it's been really nice for us to get to know each other again. And I think for my mum to get to know me and kind of know how mature I am now, because obviously at 16 I was not very mature, whereas now I'll kind of say things and she'll be like, okay, didn't expect you to think that way or know that thing. So it's been really great to get to know her. It's also been really great to spend so much time with my dad, because my dad beforehand didn't talk a whole lot. He was quite a man of few words. He would, when he'd talk, he'd make everyone giggle, or he'd kind of come out with some really good facts. Like, he's very good at remembering things. But he never really spoke that much, to be honest. And then now he's non-stop chattering, and it's brilliant to get to know him. And because obviously in Ryder at the neurological rehab, I was going to see him pretty much every day. There was a couple of weeks where I was going every other day, but pretty much every day I'd go and see him and spend 3 or 4 hours with him doing some of this React 2 app and taking him out for a walk, taking him out for lunch and coffees and things like this. So it's been really special spending so much one-on-one time with my dad and talking to him and helping him and getting to know him again as well. Like I said, I haven't lived at home for so long, and especially now with his brain injury, his personality has changed a little bit, and it's quite interesting to get to know the new him, where like he's very honest about his thoughts. He doesn't sugarcoat his thoughts. I've also noticed he's really appreciative about things, like he's really happy all the time about things. And I think when you're kind of on death's door and you stay alive and you kind of get over that, I think sometimes you have a new appreciation for life. And I think this past 5 months has kind of taught me that I want to be close to family and be here and spend time with them, but equally you should live your life and do what you want to do. So it's been quite a confusing time, because it's like, the lesson is to be with family and be there and spend so much time with them, because you don't know how long they've got left here. But equally, there's things I know my dad wanted to do, like go to India, that he's not been able to do. He didn't do it when he was younger, put it off until he's older, and now he's older, he can't really go because of his health. So there's also that kind of like, you should also do what you want to do at a young age while you can do it. So they're very conflicting, which has been interesting to try and navigate in terms of what I want to do in my future and where I want to be and living and things like that. But I've learned some big lessons. I have learned that Jeremy is incredible, and I don't know how he's done 5 months living with the in-laws with such a stressful time of my dad going in and out of hospital, of looking after my grandma, consoling my mum and helping her out, and like going to and from the hospital, to and from Ryder. Like I said, it took me about half an hour to get to Ryder. I'd spend 3 or 4 hours there, half an hour to get back. So it's probably 5 hours in the day I'd go out, and then the rest of the time I was with mum and grandma. So mine and Jeremy's relationship has honestly taken a bit of a back seat this past 5 months. So I'm looking forward to us getting back on track in a couple of months and get back to us being us. But the fact that he's been here to support me has been incredible, and I couldn't have done it without him. And a couple of things about me. So I've learned that I'm really patient. Like with my dad, sometimes he'll be trying to say a sentence, and rather than trying to rush him or finish the sentence for him, I just sit and wait for him to say what he wants to say and get it out. And I've realised I'm so patient, and sometimes when I'm trying to tell him something he doesn't understand, so I'll maybe tell him like 8 to 10 times the same thing, but maybe word it differently to make sure he understands. And I think that's been something, like I knew I was patient anyway, but dealing with this and my dad and his situation, I've just kind of realised how patient I can be. And I think it's funny to like blow your own trumpet a little bit, isn't it? Be like, oh, look at me, I'm so good. But I'm just proud of myself of how I've handled the situation. I'm so happy we came home when we did, helped out, saved my dad's life essentially. Like, it's just been such a hard 5 months, but also such a powerful 5 months. Like, it has been really emotional. It's been a roller coaster. It's been the ups and downs, death's door, out of rehab, back in hospital. Like, it's just been here, there and everywhere. But I've been super patient with my dad and also with my grandma, which I'm really proud of myself about that, honestly. I've also realised that you can do hard things. And I think I realised this for the first time when I had the abortion in 2017. That was the worst thing to ever happen to me. And then with this as well, like when my dad was having a seizure on the floor, suddenly you jump into action, and we're on the phone to 999, and they said, you're gonna have to do chest compression. So straight away, took my jumper off and got going with it. Like, had you told me the day before, would you be able to do chest compressions? I'd be like, oh my God, no, I'd freak out, wouldn't be able to do it. But actually having to do it makes you realise that you can do it, you can do hard things. And it's kind of motivated me in terms of like, if I can give chest compressions to my dad who was having seizures on the floor, like it was in between the seizures, not while he was actually seizing, but like I can go through that and keep him alive, I can do anything. I can do anything. Like, I did just the hardest, most awful, terrible thing that you shouldn't have to do. Like, no daughter should have to do chest compressions on their father. It was just so traumatic. But I can do it, and I did it. So therefore I can do anything, which I think is really powerful. And it's often, you go through these hard times to realise just how strong you are. I know that sounds super cliche, it's super like, oh, but it's so true. It is so true. So I've realised that I'm strong, I am powerful, I can do this. Like, I am capable of doing hard things. And I think that was a really big lesson for me. The other one I've written down is that I'm really caring and supportive. And again, I knew this already about myself, but I've never really had to be a carer for anybody. But being here, I've really helped care for my grandma before we got the carers in terms of getting her food and drinks and sorting out her pills and getting her up in the morning, just being a support there for her, someone to talk to and make things clear. I think she's getting dementia, so being able to kind of sit her down and talk to her about what's happening and making sure she understands. Even if she forgets and asks me 5 minutes later, I will tell her 5 minutes later again to make sure she understands what's going on. And also obviously with my mum, so looking after her and like just, I don't know, it sounds weird to say this about myself, but I'm so proud of myself. And it shouldn't be weird to say I'm proud of myself, but it does feel weird. But I'm really proud of myself, and I've really learned some like good lessons in this past 5 months. It's been really kind of tough, but also I've learned a lot, and I'm proud of myself, and it's nice to be able to say that. So moving forward, that's all over and done with. Everyone's okay, hopefully. Moving forward, so today's Wednesday, like I said, we're going to Paris on Friday, and we're going there to see our friend Raphael. So I'm filming a couple of videos. So I'm filming this one, obviously. I filmed 2 other ones early today as well, so that hopefully next week I can have some time off and some time to enjoy his company without worrying about like, oh, I have to film this video and edit it and da-da-da. So I'm trying to get some work done while I'm here. But we're going to Paris to see Raphael. I haven't seen him in about 3 or 4 years. He came to visit us in Miami, but he's a friend that we made when we lived in Paris in 2011 for a year. We lived there. So we've known him for about 10 years now. He's one of our good friends, so it'd be really nice to go and see him. I think he's booked something fun for Saturday night. So I'll be vlogging bits of Paris, probably not the whole trip, because it'd be nice just to spend time with him and also to chill a bit, because it's been a hectic 5 months, as you've just heard. So we're going to Paris to see him, probably for about a week or so, and then we're going to go down to see Jeremy's parents in Perpignan, and probably spend around 2 months in France. So we're going to be seeing his parents, also go to Marseille to see his uncle, and we've got friends there as well. Jeremy used to work in Marseille, so his like ex-managers and colleagues that we're going to go and see hopefully, and some of my friends from there as well. And then the other place we want to go to is Toulouse and see Jeremy's best man from our wedding, Alex and Elsa and their 2 kids, and probably stay with them for a couple of days as well. So we're going to be based around Perpignan, but kind of go out for little trips here and there to see people. So it'd be really nice to catch up, because obviously with COVID, oh no, actually we saw everyone last year, I think. Did we see Alex and Elsa? And I haven't seen Raphael for a while, so it'll just be nice to go back and spend some time there and have some nice weather, because England is cold and rainy still, even though it's June. So that'll be nice to go to France and enjoy some sunshine and some warmth and some family and friends. And then Jeremy's cousin is getting married in the end of July, about 23rd or something of July, so we've got that wedding as well. So that's France next up, like starting this Friday. And then from there, we're either going to come back here in August for about a month, or we're just going to head straight off to Peru and go back to where we were. So we had done 7 weeks in Peru. We were in Arequipa. We'd been in Arequipa for about 2 or 3 days, and then we had to leave. So I think if we go back traveling, which is what we want to do, we'd go back to Arequipa and kind of carry on with our journey there, and then probably do Bolivia, maybe Argentina and Chile, something like that around South America. Next March, we've got a friend getting married in Australia, which we'd like to go to. So we're thinking we'd go from South America to Australia, and then do Southeast Asia for the end, Asia, what did I say, Asia? Southeast Asia next year, from kind of March through the end of next year. So our plan, if it happens, if people stay out of trouble, like my dad stays out of hospital, is to do South America for the end of this year for about 6 months, and then Southeast Asia next year for pretty much the whole year. So it'll be interesting to see how much of that we do, what happens. I have no idea. Like, you plan things and life gets in the way. So that's the plan. Obviously, we know it might change, but that's the kind of general idea of what we'd like to do. So we'd love to go backpacking for like a year and a half, come back probably next Christmas time, and then I've got this written down as well. The future is to kind of maybe buy a house in Europe somewhere, so either in Portugal or Spain or Malta or somewhere warm in Europe, so that we can easily fly home and see our families and our friends, and also have a base, because obviously we lived in France and then we moved to Miami for 3.5 years, and then we spent this last year with our families basically, because there was a problem with Jeremy's family last year, my family this year. So we spent the last 12 months pretty much with family. We've just sold our apartment that we had in France, so we don't really have a home base. So wherever we go, we kind of have our backpack, but I would love to have maybe a 2 or 3 bedroom apartment or house somewhere where we can keep all of our things and then do our trips from there. So have that as our home base, like our home together, and then go for a month here and 2 months there and 6 weeks here and whatever, but have all our things together. Because at the moment I have some clothes and belongings here, I have some clothes and belongings in my backpack, and then some clothes and belongings at Jeremy's parents' house. So it's all kind of scattered around everywhere, and we haven't really got a place to call home apart from with our parents, which is fine. but it'd be nice to have our own space. So that's kind of the plan for, you know, 2 years from now, 2-3 years from now. I would also like to get my French nationality, my French passport, because obviously with Brexit, I now can't live in Europe. So I talk about buying a house in Europe, but I can't actually live there full time. So we'd have to sort out how I can get a French passport, which I think might take a while. It's a lot of paperwork. The French love their paperwork. So we'll have to do that at some point as well. But that's definitely something I would like to do, just so I can live in Europe if I want to. And then if we talk about other things, so in February, I talked about going gluten and cow's milk free, which I have been doing now for February, March, April, May, 4 months. I thought I would try it for 3 months and then start introducing things back in. At the minute, I don't feel a need to introduce things back in again, honestly. So on my birthday, I had a cake with ice cream, and then the next day when I had a spa day for my birthday, I felt sick all day and I felt nauseous and like I was going to be sick, and it was not that relaxing for a spa on my birthday. So I'm kind of thinking I don't really want to risk getting ill by just adding things in my diet randomly to see if I get ill from it. I'm not missing too much. The only thing I particularly miss is bread. Bread's not the same. And Cadbury's chocolate. Chocolate is not the same as Cadbury's, and I bloody love Cadbury's. I'm such a chocoholic. So I am missing my Cadbury's chocolate. And they even have a plant-based version, but it's not the same. But I have been gluten and dairy free, so, well, gluten and cow's milk free. I say dairy, but it's just cow's milk. And I found it absolutely fine in terms of the bread has been fine. It's not the same as like a soft white bread or like a French baguette or anything. It's not the same, but it's been fine. I found different pastas that I can use, like red lentil pasta and green pea pasta. I found cereals that I can have. I drink oat milk. Yogurt is something I actually miss. We've bought some oat yogurt, but it's just not the same at all. But I have found desserts, I've found chocolates. Mum's been making cookies. That's one of my recent videos. So there are lots of things that I've found that have been absolutely fine. So I don't feel the need to add things back in and risk being ill at the moment. So we'll see how long this lasts, but I've not felt sick, I've not felt ill, apart from if I have eaten like that cake and ice cream when I felt sick. But generally I feel a lot better, and it's so weird because if I do have a flare up where I feel ill, I'm like, oh my God, I used to feel like that pretty much every day. And I didn't realise how ill I felt. I think it was just normal. Whereas now I feel healthy and I feel good and I'm happy and I'm not in pain and I'm not feeling sick. When I do get ill, I'm like, ugh, this feels awful. How did I put up with it for so long? So it's so interesting when you realise that the way that you feel in your body is not normal or healthy or whatever. And then when you do start to feel normal and healthy and you feel ill again, you're like, oh my God, how did I used to feel like that all the time? So that's been a journey, but I'm really happy with where I'm at in terms of not eating gluten and cow's milk. It's a bit of a pain for meals out because you kind of have a gluten-free menu, a dairy-free menu, and then like a normal menu. But if you get something that's vegan, yeah, it doesn't have cow's milk, but it also doesn't have any meat, which I'm happy eating meat. I can eat like lamb and chicken and all the rest of it, beef and things. So it's been interesting trying to navigate, like certain restaurants make it really easy, certain restaurants I found it a little bit harder, and I'm kind of struggling to find something that I can eat because it's either gluten-free or dairy-free. And it's like a tart, which obviously has gluten in it, but it's dairy-free, or you'll have a dairy-free something, but it's got gluten in it. So it has been quite hard eating out. And I think it might be hard, like in Paris with our friend. I'm sure he's going to make all the effort to make it good for me. But I think just in terms of eating at people's houses this summer, it's going to be a little bit tricky. And eating out and eating at Jeremy's parents, I think it just might take a little while to kind of, and I don't like being in pain. I don't like being that person that's like, oh, well, I can't eat that and I'm not going to eat that. So if somebody makes me food, I'm probably going to eat it and say thank you and then just feel ill for a day afterwards. I'm too nice to kind of say no to people. So Jeremy's good at like saying no and sorting me out. But yeah, so that's the gluten-free and dairy-free, cow's milk-free. In terms of Zenden, it's doing really well. This is my yoga and meditation YouTube channel that I started on my birthday. I looked at my stats today and I have 480 views, even though I started posting on there 6 weeks ago. So that's really, really good. I did a video for the Ceramics Congress the other day, so that got me about 20 new subscribers. And then one of my videos is now, I posted it on Sunday and it's now Wednesday, so that's 3 or 4 days ago. And it's already at 130 views, which if you compare that, which has been going for about 6 weeks and I post once a week, compared to my main this channel that you're watching, my main YouTube channel that's been going for 2.5 years, I'd be lucky to get 130 views on a video in 4 days. So it's interesting how, I think because it's so branded and it's so specific and it's so niche, like it's yoga and meditation for everyone. I think because it is so niche and it's something that people look for, it's doing quite well. Whereas this channel is just my life. So it's like a life update, it's a haircut, it's new clothing, it's camera equipment, like it's kind of everything and it's all over the place, which I like because that's my life. I have lots of different interests. But I think that because this Zen Den channel is very specific, I think it's going to pick up quicker than this channel did. So that's been really fun to watch it grow. I'm enjoying my Instagram, doing funny reels and making posts. I'm quite a creative person. I love being on Canva and creating little flyers and things. So it's been quite good going on Canva and creating art. What do you call it? Not art, but you know, little graphics and things for my Instagram. So I'm really enjoying my Zen Den. I haven't posted much on my personal Instagram. I've kind of neglected that. I just think it's so hard as a photographer on Instagram because it's now turning to video. So if you're not doing cute videos, miming to stuff, it's really hard to get big with photography. And I don't want to do like, I don't know, that's a whole other conversation. So I am still posting on my main Instagram. It's just that I'm focusing more on my Zen Den. So that's been good fun. My YouTube has been monetized now for 6 months. I'm going to create a video probably tomorrow, so that might be coming up soon, about how much YouTube paid me for my first 6 months on YouTube, which is going to be super interesting. I'm going to share my analytics, how much I'm being paid, which are my top paid videos, which ones are doing well. I'm going to share some of the analytics behind the scenes of my YouTube channel, so make sure you subscribe and stay tuned for that one. It's going to be super exciting and informative. The podcast, we started posting on YouTube. When did we start? It was about February time, I think. So that's doing really well. Jeremy's promoting more the YouTube rather than the podcast apps. So we're getting lots of views there. I think he's got 30,000 views on there, but he's posting reels or shorts on Instagram, on YouTube, sorry. Oh, it gets so confusing. He's posting shorts on YouTube and they're doing quite well. So he's up to 30,000 views since February. So that's doing really well and growing. So that's awesome. That's pretty much it. The only thing I might talk about quickly is egg freezing. So I've had 3 miscarriages and an abortion due to medical issues at 6.5 months. But I've lost 4 pregnancies basically. So I went to the doctor recently and I've been doing tests, blood tests, all these different things. And I had an appointment 2 days ago on Monday and she gave me lots of information. I might be doing a video talking about this if I go ahead with egg freezing or embryo freezing. But I think the next couple of months for me is going to be thinking about if I want to do that for the future. I get very emotional when I talk about babies and pregnancy and all the rest of it because it's quite a touchy subject for me, obviously having gone through 4 infant losses. But that is something that I am thinking about doing. So if you have frozen your eggs or your embryos or done IVF, please do let me know in the comment section. Please reach out to me via Instagram. I would love to talk to you and ask some questions because there's so much that I don't know about and so much that you can do and so many different options, and it's overwhelming and it's a lot to try and process. So if you have any experience, please do let me know. I would love to talk to you. But yeah, that is my life update in a nutshell. That's kind of everything that's been going on the past 5 months. Everything that's hopefully going to be going on in the future. Like I said, we're going to France on Friday. We've got about 2 months in France. We might come back in August to do the egg freezing or embryo freezing, or we might just go off straight to Peru. And then we'll be in South America for hopefully kind of August, September, October, November, December, January, February, something like 6-7 months. Australia for the wedding, and then Southeast Asia after that. I would love to go to India, Cambodia, Thailand, Laos, where else? Malaysia, India. Did I mention India? Sri Lanka, like all that kind of region I would love to do. So hopefully that'll be next year. So like I said, I have no idea if any of that's going to happen. Probably not, let's touch wood. But yeah, that's the kind of life update. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know I was talking fast, but my camera's saying it's only got a couple of minutes left of filming. My battery's running low, so I kind of had to run through this. But that's the update. If you have any questions about anything that I've said, if anything wasn't clear, please do let me know. But make sure you subscribe so you can follow me along on this journey, and I'll keep you updated in terms of my dad, France. I'm going to be vlogging in Paris and the south of France, and probably not the wedding, but you know, I'm going to be vlogging the next couple of months anyway. and then traveling again. I can't wait to get back traveling, get back to me and Jeremy being together again and just us and doing our own thing. So I hope you enjoyed it. Check out my Zen Den channel. I'll leave it down below if you want to do some yoga and meditation with me. I'm a lot calmer on that channel, by the way. I talk a lot slower and I'm a lot more calm and serene. And this is the place where I can be like, oh, scatterbrain. So anyway, trying to finish this video. Oh, I hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't already and I'll see you soon. Bye.